War was the scheduled smash hit for the holiday season of 2006, 1 year after the 360 was released. It was met with much acclaim, even receiving Game of the Year from several organizations. I've worked on this game a lot in the past, and admittedly, I'd only played a little bit of it, so I decided to be fair and try it out. At the same time, I felt really bad because I was playing yet another game that corporations had spent millions on developing and advertising when it might just be mediocre. Yes, I'm more than willing to hate on corporations, even though I work for one. Let's prepare for the sequel.
Yeah, I guess I'm also reviewing this game because of the corporate-sponsored sequel.
Hey, Epic Games! You might know them as the people behind the Unreal Engine, but I know them as the company behind Jazz Jackrabbit, the greatest Sonic ripoff ever made. I also thought the music was really professional. That's right, I said professional. Try arguing that one on a forum.
So if these are the Gears of War, this is the God of War, this is the Fuel of War, this is Universe at War, Warhawk, Warhammer, Warcraft. I could talk about generic titles till I'm blue in the face, but it doesn't really matter. Even if we have an obsession with humanity's dumbest behavior, I have to admit that these titles work. I mean, what else were they gonna call it? Fun times with the Lancer? A gear is a soldier. They have these cog tags. See what they did there? You're part of Delta Squad. Whatever, these graphics are freaking beautiful. I'm amazed that it can all fit into one DVD. Of course, with amazing textures and normal mapping comes problems. Specifically, texture popping. The Unreal Engine streams textures, but of course that cuts down on loading times. So if you're going to complain about it, you gotta ask yourself, would you rather see the spinning cog or a really blurry interface? I believe I was attempting to tell you about the plot of this third-person shooter, but any attempt would have been futile. I really don't know what's going on in this game. When you start out, nothing is explained. Oh, let's check out the endgame demo.
Humans denied their enemy control by destroying their own civilization.
Alright, that explained nothing. No, I'm not saying that all hardcore games have to have a well-defined plot, it's just, you know, when I curb stomp something, I at least want to know why nobody got upset. As for the actual gameplay, most of it is stopping and popping. Much like the textures. You find cover and fire at something until it has an overly dramatic death sequence, and then you move on to its cousin. This never gets old because there's little bits of strategy sprinkled in here and there, and the boss battles require a little more thinking other than firing lead into its weak point. Even the act of reloading is strategic. I can't even show you in-game, I have to show you with, well, a flowchart. To reload, you click the right button. To hurry things along, you can click it again, but if you don't click it while this line is in the active space, you will jam your gun and delay reloading. If you do click it while it's in the active space, you have to ask yourself, did you click it in the special active space? If not, you just get full ammo. If you do, your ammo is boosted, but only for the amount of ammo that you reloaded. But it goes further. If you don't fire it in time, you will lose the boosted ammo and just have full ammo. But if you do, you will inflict extra damage until you need to reload again. You have to ask yourself, did you click it in the active space? By the way, corporations love flowcharts. This trick works for all guns, which there aren't very many of, and that's okay because you only need a few. And by few, I mean one. The Lancer. It is a fully automatic assault rifle with a huge magazine and a chainsaw bayonet. Yes, there is a gasoline-ran chainsaw at the end of the gun. When hardcore gamers usually hear about a component like this, they respond with, "Oh, f***ing awesome!" Yeah, return to your party, frat boy. I like it for the strategy. Let me qualify my statements. Using the chainsaw bayonet does not require ammo. It is an efficient weapon and it adds buffer time to when you can receive damage. It is best used against enemies without firearms. Now, I know saying that you use the chainsaw bayonet for strategy is kind of like saying that you watch NASCAR to see grown men drive in a circle for hours. So I have to admit that the idea of running around a war zone with a motorized weapon does make the hair on my chest grow. Even though this game is held with such high esteem, it is not without its flaws. Shut up, there are flaws. I would like to take a moment to say that there's too much blood in this game. I'm not trying to be some kind of prude saying that it's gross or physiologically it's impossible to lose all that blood and still be alive. I'm just saying flat out there's too much blood. Sometimes I can't even see what I'm shooting at. Also, when I hold down the A button to run, it's because I want to get somewhere fast. I do not want to stick to a point of cover that's 3 feet away. Running is clunky and just hard to control. I can already hear the hate mail pouring in from the previous statement. They didn't design the game for distance running. You're not supposed to have a lot of control when running. How do you expect them to run in that armor? You're a homo if you don't like this game? But does anybody else see that as a slippery slope? Excusing clunky controls for game design is kind of like saying, I don't know, shoddy collision detection is okay because the developers wanted to make the game harder.
With the games that are reviewed thus far, online play has been lackluster. Not so much with gameplay, but more over connectivity. But Gears of War on Xbox Live really delivers the goods.
For future reference, the only player versus player mode I engage in is Deathmatch. What's with all this capture the flag and king the hill bullshit? Gears of War Online is a lot of fun. Epic Games is not content with you shooting each other to death. To score a point, you had to paint the streets with their frontal lobes. It's evident to me that the developers had co-op in mind when they designed the campaign because it's incredibly immersive. I also really like the co-op because you can give your friends audio commentaries on the cutscenes without them being in the same room.
I love the actors especially when King is out there for like 5 minutes.
By the way, I usually play with Joshua Hadafi. He says, it's probably the best co-op game today. Well, it's obvious he's only saying this because he's never played the WiiWare version of Dr. Mario co-op. On the overall, Gears of War is an incredible and impressive package. I like the fact that I can call it fun and back it up with replayability reasons. You can choose your difficulty, you can search for cog tags, the cinematics are cool, and you can choose which parts of the game you want to replay, which made capturing footage for this review really easy. Thank you, Epic Games. I'm not the kind of player that points at the Lancer and says, ugh, great game. Saying things like this kinda makes me feel like an elitist, but hey, I work for corporate America. Being an elitist comes with the territory.